Have you ever had that feeling that there's some kind of hidden force shaping your reality? That maybe, just maybe, the world you see isn't just what's out there, but it's really about what's happening in here? Well, today, we're going to dive deep into that very idea through a powerful story about two profoundly different mindsets that honestly live inside all of us. Let's get into it. So I want you to imagine for a second that you're a child and you're standing between these two powerful figures in your life. They both love you, they both guide you, but their core beliefs about how the world works are polar opposites. You know, this isn't really a story about money. It's about witnessing two completely different ways of being, two clashing philosophies, and trying to find your own way through it all. And that experience, it puts you at this fundamental crossroads, doesn't it? It really shows you the two paths we can all walk in life. One path is paved with fear and limitation, and the other, well, that one is all about possibility and having the courage to create your own reality. Okay, so this right here, this gets to the absolute heart of those two worlds. The poor mindset, and let's be clear, this isn't about how much money is in your bank account. It's about being mentally trapped in a cycle of fear. It's looking at the world through a lens of not enough. And that simple phrase, I can't afford it, that's the sound of a door slamming shut on your own potential. But then you've got the rich mindset, which is all about possibility. It sees the world as abundant. And the question, how can I afford it? Well, that's the key that unlocks the very same door. And here's the crucial point. This is so much more than just positive thinking. The words we use, they're like spells we cast on ourselves every single day. Every time you say, I can't, you're building a wall inside your own mind. But every time you ask, how can I? You're opening a window. These phrases, when you repeat them over and over, they literally become the architecture of your reality. And that one little shift from a dead-end statement to an open-ended question, that becomes the spark. It's the moment of awakening that can literally change the entire trajectory of a life. Let's just sit with this question for a moment, really feel it. I can't is a period. It's a full stop, an end point. It requires zero thought, and it actually tells your brain to shut down. But how can I? Now that's a beginning. It's an invitation for your mind to wake up, to get creative, and to start solving the puzzle. It engages the most powerful asset you will ever have, your own ingenuity. And this is why it matters so much, because it goes way beyond just buying things. This is a philosophy for life. It trains your brain to start seeing solutions instead of roadblocks in every part of your life. An obstacle is no longer a wall, it's just a challenge waiting for you to find a creative solution. It's the difference between being a passenger in your own life and grabbing the steering wheel with both hands. So if this one little shift in mindset is so powerful, where do we learn it? Well, that brings us to our next big idea. The most important lessons for our growth, for our soul, they're usually not found in a classroom. Just think about it for a second. School, it teaches us how to get a job and work for money. But does it teach us how to make money work for us? Does it teach us that risk isn't just something scary to avoid, but something to manage and learn from? Does it teach us about creating assets? And the one that really gets me, it rarely touches on the fact that our mindsets are often inherited. We can end up living out someone else's financial and mental script without even realizing it. And this is where that story of the two fathers becomes so real. See, one father avoided talking about money. It made it a source of stress, of secrecy. But the other one, he welcomed it. They talked business and investments right there at the dinner table. And that's where the real learning happens, right? Not in a lecture, but in conversation, in curiosity, and just being exposed to a different way of thinking. This brings us to what might be the most profound distinction in this entire journey. It's the difference between an external circumstance and an internal identity. And this is the part that really hit home for me. The battle for our potential, it's waged entirely within our own mind. Okay, first, let's talk about being broke. Being broke is a situation. It's a number in a bank account. It's a temporary condition, a short-term setback. It's something that happens to you, but it isn't who you are. It's totally external. Now, contrast that with being poor. In this context, being poor is a state of mind. It's a long-term pattern of thinking that sees limitation everywhere and automatically says, I can't. It's a self-imposed prison of belief that can exist whether you have $1 or $1 million in the bank. It is completely 100% internal. And this right here is the soul of the lesson. Wealth, opportunity, abundance, these are not things we go out and chase. They are things we cultivate right here, inside of us. They are born from our thoughts and our beliefs long before they ever show up in the physical world. Our inner state is the true origin of our outer reality.
So, knowing all this, how do we actually apply it? How do we take these insights and create a new map for our own journey? One that lets us consciously, deliberately shape the reality we experience.
All right, here are 4 practical things you can start doing today. First, master your internal language. Really catch yourself when you say, I can't, and flip it to, how can I? Second, reframe risk. Stop seeing it as a threat and start seeing it as an opportunity to learn something new. Third, become a student of life. Study what actually matters for your growth. And finally, and this is the most important one, choose your thoughts deliberately. Your mind is your single greatest asset. You have to start treating it that way.
Because at the end of the day, the real power to shape your destiny, it doesn't come from a diploma or a job or a salary. It comes from the quiet, courageous, and deliberate act of choosing how you think. That is the source of all creation, and that is a power that belongs completely and totally to you.
So, the final question I want to leave you with isn't about your income. It's about your inner world. How can you cultivate a mind that thinks, a spirit that learns, and a will that acts to create not just wealth, but a life that is truly filled with purpose and genuine abundance? If these words stirred something within you, don't let the feeling fade. Stay with us, where every story opens another door to the unseen. Subscribe, share your light, and join me again as we journey through the soul and beyond the shadow.